Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and nutrition coach. I help women develop healthy habits that align with their health, wellness, and fitness goals. If you or someone you might know is interested in living a healthier lifestyle, especially with us coming up on a new year, because I know how y'all like to do that new year, new me type thing. If that's you, girl, reach out to me. You can do that by emailing me at tiavfitness@gmail.com. Or you can write me on Instagram at Tia V Fitness. We are gearing up for another round of 75 Hard in the app. I'm super excited about it. People are enrolling. We've got a lot of second time 75 Hard participants coming back. To my surprise, I did not know. I had no idea that people would enjoy that challenge so much that they would come back to do it a second time. And I would like to believe that they kind of made that decision based off of the fact that they just like working out with me. Girl, I think that's the main reason why they're coming back. So if you want to participate in 75 Hard and you want to work out with us for the first 75 days of 2025, please email me and let me know so we can get you registered. Or if you would like to register yourself, you can do that by going to my website, tiavfitness.com/you. That's tiavfitness.com/YOU. And get yourself registered. And I'll reach out to you, get you all scheduled for our first one-on-one call, and we'll get you going for a successful start to the new year. Yes, I wanted to do a bit of a year-end review, and I still don't know whether it's year-end review, as in the end of the year, or is it year-in review, as in we are reviewing the year, like year IN review, or is it year END review? I still don't know. I still don't know. Maybe I should Google it after we finish talking, but we're going to do that today. But before we do, let's talk about what I'm eating right now. That's just got me like in such a great mood. And I know immediately when I say one of these things, everyone is going to roll their eyes and girl, like it's okay, because we've been friends for a long time now. So I get it. I get that some of the stuff that I eat and I talk about on here, people just aren't going to be in love with it. They're not going to like it. And it's fine. But I'm trying to tell you right now, I made a pot of chickpea stew yesterday for the first time in like a couple years, actually. And not only did it turn out perfect, like it's flavored to perfection, like I seasoned it just right. It is amazing. But we have talked before about the benefits of the chickpea stew. It's very high in fiber. It's very high in plant-based protein. It tastes amazing. It's got turmeric, ginger, and garlic in it. All of the things that the people say that we should eat for really good gut health and to help our digestive systems do what they're supposed to do. And let me tell you, I have only had one bowl of it, with a couple spoonfuls here and there as I was sampling while I was cooking. But I've only had one serving of the stew, and it is already doing what it's supposed to do. So let me say this one last time. Well, probably not for the last time, but my last time today, probably. If you are looking for something to like jumpstart your digestive system, if you feel like you need to detox after eating all this holiday food, like whatever it is that you're thinking you need to do to your body, because I know some people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to start the year juicing. I'm going to start the year fasting, which is fine if it's like a religious fast. But if you're just not eating just because you think it's going to do something for your body, like, girl, let's talk about that. Whatever it is, if you make some of this chickpea stew and you just eat some, everything that you have eaten over the past few days will come out. Like your body will rid itself of everything that you have had. And it is a natural way to kind of get things going for you, if you will, right? The chickpea stew hits every time. Like, it tastes good and it does all of the right things. Now, because people have the issues with the chickpeas or whatever, which I don't understand that, because I'm like, chickpeas taste like whatever you put on them. Like, they take on seasoning very well. You can eat these in a bowl like stew. You can add meat to it. Last night I added some like little pieces of steak to my bowl because I made steak for my family. So I added some of that steak to my bowl. It was very, very good. You can also have chickpea stew in a tortilla. It makes a yummy curried taco. You can have it with veggies and eat it kind of like as a side, which is probably how I'll have it today. You guys, it is amazing. Try to get past the chickpea part and just focus on the fact that it tastes really good and is so good for you. So that's number one. Something else that I have been eating and just loving and enjoying, and I might have some of it today for dinner, is I've been getting I make steak whenever my family wants steak, but I've been getting the steak that they make it, I think, for stews, right? And it comes already cut up in like little cubes. So what you want to do is you want to get that steak, right? You cook it and you season it however you want to, right? I just do a traditional steak seasoning on mine, right? You cook it in a cast iron skillet so that it tastes and feels grilled, which technically I guess it is, right? So you cook it in a cast iron skillet. Remove it from the skillet and put it like in a bowl or something. Now, in that same skillet, you want to get mushrooms, red onions, and zucchini. Chop them, slice them, dice them however you would like to. Cook the veggies in that same skillet with the steak bits, grease, juice, leftover seasoning that should still be in your pan, right? Cook it, cook it, cook it. Once it's done, remove it from the pan, okay? Then you want to get some jasmine rice. Make it however you want to. Girl, I put mine in the microwave because why am I making that on a pot when I can microwave it? So I put mine in the microwave. Get out your food scale. Measure out however much rice fits your particular numbers, right? Put you some veggies and some of that steak on your plate. You can chop up some green onion if you want to and sprinkle that on the top. You could sprinkle on top some sesame seeds. If you want to do a drizzle of some of that sriracha mayo, you can. If you have, what is that sauce they serve at hibachi restaurants? Yum yum sauce. Girl, if you got some of that, put some of that on there. If you got a little bit of wasabi, you can get some wasabi. Mix it with some coconut aminos. Whisk that up really quick. You can drizzle that on there. And I'm not saying don't do all of these. I mean, you could, but I would say don't do that. Pick like one or two of the things that I just listed. Put them on top of your steak bowl. And when I mean to tell you, it is so good. It is so good. And if you don't want to have it with steak, you can always swap it and eat like salmon or shrimp or whatever meat you want to use. You could totally use another protein because I certainly do not eat steak that many times out of the week. By any stretch of the imagination, I'm not eating that much red meat. But let me tell you, the couple of times that I've had this, it was so good. I have been meaning to tell y'all about it and I just kept forgetting, but I wrote it down so I didn't forget today. It is delicious. And I know you're like, Tia, that is like the most basic, simple, like food idea. And it is. But I share that to say the food is simple. Like the food can be made to be really easy. I think we overcomplicate it by trying to get so creative because we want our day-to-day eating to mirror that of like going out to eat at a restaurant. And if you're eating with certain goals in mind, that probably just should be something you take off the table, right? Your meals when you're eating to get certain results are probably going to be simple. It's literally going to be veggies, a protein, and some type of carb source, right? But the way you season it and how you dress it up is what makes it special. So yeah, you could eat as much chicken and broccoli as you want to. I mean, I would strongly encourage you to eat something else. But let's just say you're a person who feels like chicken and broccoli is the only thing your body responds to. Let's just go with that. If you made a yummy sauce for that chicken and broccoli, or if you dressed it up by sprinkling some things on it, drizzling it with something, you would find that dressing it up makes it a whole lot better. You could probably eat chicken and broccoli way more often throughout the week if it had a little razzle-dazzle on it, as opposed to it being just boiled chicken and steamed broccoli, right? Which I prefer my broccoli roasted in the oven so it still has that bite and that crunch to it. And I feel like the seasoning stays on it better when you roast it in the oven. And it's just good. When you roast it in the oven, you find that you could literally probably eat broccoli like all day when it's roasted in the oven. But that's neither here nor there. You could also add broccoli to the steak bowl that I told you about. So there's also that. Try these meals and let me know what you think. Please message me about the chickpea stew if you don't have the recipe and you would like it. I would be more than happy to send it to you. Maybe I will link it in the show notes if I can figure out how to do that. So you just keep working with me. Let's get into our year-end in review for 2024 because I can't believe we are already here. Also, just as a side note, we're going to do the Paracone Promise in January, mainly because honestly, like sometimes I feel like part of doing this for work is that I feel like I need to be in the mood to discuss some of these things. If I really want it presented well, I kind of need to be, the vibes have to be there. And for whatever reason, the vibes for all of that just haven't been, I just haven't been able to tap into those vibes. I have read the book. The book is extremely helpful. It is some very good information in it. And I promise you in January, I'm going to tell you everything I learned from that book. But for today, with it being the holiday season, with it being the fact that Christmas is in 8 days, with it being the fact that I'm literally still Christmas shopping, with it being the fact that these children get out of school in a day or so, and I'm not exactly where I would be typically at this point in the whole holiday situation, I'm not going to do anything extra right now. So please give me a little bit of grace and understanding and just know that I will tell you all about the Paracone Promise in January. But let's start our year-end review because that's fun and I feel like the vibes are just right for that, okay? So we started off the year here at the podcast talking about me turning 40. And I'm about to turn 41 in very soon. I turn 41, right? I feel like this year did teach me a whole lot. And just like a lot of you said, I would grow up a lot or things would just make more sense to me this year. Now, one of my favorite things about being 40 is the fact that I feel like at this point in life, I do have friends that are older than me. They have experienced life in a way that I have not, and they have experienced more life than me. One of the best takeaways, one of the greatest lessons that I have learned this year is that everyone, especially a woman in her 40s, should have friends who are older than them. You got to have somebody. You got to have, and I would almost go so far as to say maybe it shouldn't be somebody that's related to you, right? Because sometimes when people are related to you, their advice to you might be a little bit biased. But get you a good girlfriend that knows how to say hey, maybe you should think about this, or no, I don't think you should, no. But it's with love, they say it with love, this person should not be a mean, catty, petty person with you. It's okay if they're petty with other people, but they're not petty with you. And they just say to you oh, you probably just have a little bit more growing up to do as far as a certain situation might be concerned. I love that. I love that I have friends who are in their mid 40s and up, because they look at me and they say, that's cute that you have so much energy for that right now. But in a couple years, you won't have the energy to give to that. So, we're telling you, you probably shouldn't give something that much energy today. Save yourself. Do not age yourself prematurely by worrying about something that you for sure will care less about 2 years from now. And I love that for me. So my lesson number 1 for everybody, get you some friends that are not your exact same age. Find somebody that is like, I don't know, just older than you, but she's got to be smart. She's got to be a smart woman. She's got to be smart. And she's got to be somebody that you respect. Like, okay, I respect this person. If I call her and ask her for her advice on something, I know that she's giving it to me straight up and she's not sugarcoating anything. And she's saying, hey, you can make that decision if you want to, but you're going to regret it. And which you still have the free will to make your own decisions, but at least you have their voice in your mind saying, so-and-so said, this is probably a bad move. And since she's more mature than me and she's seen a little bit more than I have, maybe I should listen to her and save myself the trouble. Get you some older friends. I love that. And that's been one of the best things about turning 40. On the podcast, we also talked a lot about the Medi Spa. I'm going to reposition my legs right now because I'm sitting on the floor and my left leg has fallen asleep. Hold on just a second. Oh, and it had gone all the way down to my foot. Oh, so now I have to wiggle my toes to get the life back in that limb. But yes, we talked a lot about the Medi Spa earlier this year, and I talked about lymphatic drainage massages. I talked about other services that you can get at places like that. And as a matter of fact, on this past Friday the 13th actually, it was time for my monthly lymphatic drainage massage. So I go over there. I'm super excited every month when I go to do this because having your lymph nodes drained is like good for you, right? So I'm always excited. But I get in there and my girl, her name is Rosie. Rosie is like, have you ever done like this service where it's like it firms your skin? It's some type of collagen mask, something or another. She was like, do you take collagen supplements? And I'm like, no, I don't. Collagen is actually one of the things that I know I should be doing, but I don't do it because every time I find a collagen supplement, I look at the back of the label and it's like, oh, you have to take 6 of these with breakfast and 54 of them at lunch. And I'm like, first of all, who is remembering to do all of this all day? But then second of all, I don't want to take that many of anything. Like, I don't want to take that many. And then I know you can put collagen in your drinks. I said, but again, I have a hard time putting things in my water or putting things in my coffee. And so that too kind of just didn't work out for me. And I've tried. And she was like, oh, well, this is like a collagen mask thing. Like I kind of massage it into you. And I think you use, she did use some type of machine thing that kind of looked like a blow dryer. But it was warm. Like it was warm to the touch. And like she kind of massaged the mask into my skin with this little heat stick. And like I got my regular massage and everything. And it was great. Now, Rosie told me it'll probably take about 2 weeks for you to see any results like from this little mask. But if you do, then that just lets you know that, yeah, maybe you should think about adding collagen into your daily regimen. And I'm like, okay, well, it has not been 2 weeks yet. It hasn't even been 1 week yet, but I'm going to pay attention to how it works. And if it does, I will definitely come back here and let you guys know. Now, my skin, I would say, is pretty, like naturally pretty firm. Like I don't think I've reached that point in my life yet where my skin is starting to like age. But I am very interested in seeing how this works out for me. She did do it on my area around my navel, where I do have like the looser, softer skin. So if my belly button looks a little bit more tight and or lifted, whatever, I will certainly come back here and let everybody know that, oh my gosh, we all need to start getting these collagen masks. You put it on your tummy, you apply heat to it, you wipe it off, and in 2 weeks, maybe your tummy will look younger. We don't know, but we're going to see. We're going to check it out. So we started off talking about that. I still feel really passionately about the Medi-Spa. I'm telling you, especially if you are eating really well and you are working out, going and getting those massages, in my opinion, has really helped out. Like, I don't look nearly as puffy and inflamed as I used to, which could be, attributed to the fact that I have also cleaned up the way that I eat by a lot. And I did stop drinking a lot of alcohol. So, it could be that. But I also feel like I was getting the massages before I truly made any of those changes. So I don't know. I feel like the massages really do something. Like, you really do end up looking and feeling so much better afterwards. And the thing about going to the Medi-Spa that I love, I get the same, I book with the same person every time. So she and I, we've gotten to know each other. And so if she sees, because she sees me every month, if she thinks that there's something else that could probably help me, or if she suggests that I try something, she talks to me about it. She educates me on it. And then of course it's up to me whether or not I want to try it. But yeah, when she recommends something, I'll say like, oh, okay, well, it's just a mask or it's just a whatever. Yes, I'll try that, because none of this stuff is like invasive, right? You get it done and you literally walk out of there. It's fine. I have tried what else at the Medi-Spa? I did try the body sculpting thing. I can't remember if that was this season or last season, but I do remember trying that, and I do remember it not being the most comfortable thing. But Rosie told me that girls get it. Some women are getting that done like every week. So I share that to say, if you are someone who maybe hasn't started being as consistent as you would like to be, but you want to have like the look of someone who is way more consistent, that service would be for you. Because she said it's people that come get it done and they don't work out and their bodies look amazing. That is what she told me. She was like, yeah, I do that kind of procedure on people who I know for a fact they don't eat well and they don't work out. All they do is come here and get that done once a week. She was like, and their bodies are like tea. They look good. So girl, if that's you, we listen and we don't judge. You go get it done. And if it works out for you, if you're able to get it done every week and it transforms your body, please message me and let me know, because I would love to possibly interview you for one of the newsletters in 2025. Because stuff like that really does interest me, because like I always say, it's more than one way to skin like the fitness cat. Obviously, working out is good for you because it helps you internally, like it makes sure that your body is functioning the way that you would want it to. But if you're just looking for the physique, if you're just looking for a certain aesthetic, Google, because people on TikTok kept messaging me saying like, oh, but where do you go? Where do you go? And I'm like, it's in the caption. Google Medi-Spa, put in your zip code, and then whatever places come up, search their services. Like, go to their websites, look at their services, see what they have to offer, and start where you are comfortable. Start where you are comfortable as far as the service goes and as far as your budget goes. Because when she told me people were going once a week, I was like, oh, that's a pretty penny that people are spending every month coming over here. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh, well, that's no different than me having like 8 million memberships to all these different places. And some of them, I never even have time to go to them. So, which I'm trying to be better about that in 2025. But yeah, we've talked a lot about the Medi-Spa and how it can help you, what services are available. And I do want everyone to try a lymphatic drainage massage at least once in 2025. And then you come back and tell me if you did not have the best experience of your life, if it was not soothing, if it was not enjoyable, and if it did not make you look less inflamed. Just come back and tell me. Then we talked about my trip to Curacao, and that was amazing. You know, I still think about that island, and I still think about the great time we had there. But you know what? Whenever you take a trip and you come back from it, once, you know, like that good vacation vibe kind of wears off of you and you get a chance to digest what all just happened, I would say that there are a couple things that I learned, right? Number one, absolutely yes, I would go back to Curacao. I would go back to the resort we stayed at. I think about the people there quite often. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Would give that vacation probably an 8 out of 10. Now, why would I not give it a full 10? Well, because while the resort was amazing, it didn't sit on what I am going to call a proper beach, right? Where it was positioned on the island, it wasn't a real beach. Like it just wasn't. And that's why you had to do an excursion to get to a proper beach with sand, waves, the ability to get into the water, for real. All of that, you had to do an excursion to get to that, right? So I would have to give it a ding for that. And then also, I would have to say, and someone can let me know how they feel about this, but I would also have to say, sometimes when we go on trips like that, especially if it's a place where it's kind of all inclusive, because many of those places are like that, is it just me? Or sometimes I feel like the food at those places isn't necessarily always the best. You might come across a really good meal here and there, but to me, it's very much so hit and miss. It's very much so hit and miss. And I think that when I go on vacation, I want to eat, number one, I want to eat the food of the culture where we are. And I still don't know, and I'm sure it's not like this everywhere, but from what I have experienced, you go to places, you go to these resorts, they're very nice, but for whatever reason, they don't always include the food that the locals would eat at the resort. And if they do, it's still a hoity-toity version of it. And I'm kind of why don't y'all just serve us what's going on here in the way that it is? Give us street food, but at the resort. And you can still plate it really pretty if you want to, but give us that. Now, I'm sure on other islands, maybe this is not an issue, but where we went, yeah, absolutely not. You were not getting the food that the locals eat there. And then on top of that, the food hall that's popular there, the hours were weird or something. So we were never able to go to the food hall because every time we got the opportunity to go, it wasn't even open. So that's another thing. I'm before you go anywhere, if you want to experience life as a local, look up all that stuff before you go, which I feel like I need to take my own advice, which I will, but maybe that's something that other people already kind of knew to do, but it didn't occur to me, probably because I didn't plan that trip, but it didn't even occur to me to be oh, let me look up what days and times the markets are open, when these food halls are open, so that we can make sure we get to sample some of what the island has to offer off of the resort. So that's the only reason I would be 8 out of 10. But you experience things, you learn from them, and the next time he plans a trip, I will say, okay, that's great that he planned this. That's awesome. And then I'm going to get on my little computer and I'm going to figure out when the things are open so that we can make sure we make it to some of that kind of stuff. So love sharing my trip to Curacao and stuff like that. I think I'm going to start sharing over on the other podcast, because sometimes these episodes, I think they get a little long because I'm trying to, share about what we all came here to talk about, right? Health, fitness, and wellness. Then I try to talk about my life a little bit. I try to talk about funny and like the random things. And sometimes I feel like that makes the episodes long. So I think in 2025, I will start putting more of like the personal, like life stories over on my other number, just to keep these episodes focused on the topics at hand, right? After my trip to Curacao, we started talking about leaning into a life of ease. And one of the greatest lessons I have learned in 2024 was to stop creating so much resistance in my own life by just being resistant to what life is for me. And I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. And I think we did talk about this a little bit over on my other number. But one of the best things I did for myself in 2024 was to start embracing what actually is and stop fighting it so much, right? I started putting myself in a situation where I was giving into what the dynamic, I would say, of my relationship is first and foremost. Because as it turns out, if you aren't like always going back and forth with your partner about something, that really does impact your day-to-day life. Like, it's just lighter, better, and it's more fun when you don't have like that quiet animosity going on internally, right? So that definitely helped me out a lot. The other thing that helped me out a lot was saying to myself, okay, Tia, you need to stop caring so much about what other people perceive your life or your job or your situation to be, and just flourish in what is. And so if that means that, yeah, you coach women, you help them, you talk a lot about fitness, and I joke that fitness is my personality because it kind of sort of like is, but also I am starting to recognize and identify that like, no, that's actually what I do for a living. And when I think about who I am as a person, it's not that. I think another thing that that was helpful to me in 2024 was coming to a place of saying like, things don't have to be hard. Like, they don't have to be hard. And when you're talking to people and you're sharing with them maybe something that you did that day, or you're sharing with them, for example, I might talk to somebody and I'm like, yeah, like I'm kind of stressed out. I recorded 2 podcast episodes and I went to upload them on my computer. And for whatever reason, GarageBand, because that's that software that I use, GarageBand is being weird and it's not saving my and that's stressful. To someone like me who does this for work, that is stressful. And so for someone else to be like, girl, that's not even a problem. Like, oh, that's cute that's your problem. And I'm like, no, actually, that's not cute. That would almost be like you working on a report for your boss, right? And you work so hard on this report, but then you go to email it to them, and for whatever reason, it won't send. Like, you've completed it, but it just won't send. And you have a deadline, like it's supposed to be sent to them by a certain time, right? It's the same thing. But I came to a place this year where I'm like, yeah, Tia, you don't need to care so much about that. And if your job is easy, which this job is not, it's not the hardest. It's really not. I enjoy what I do. I love it. And because of that, it probably feels easy to me. But in the grand scheme of life, I had to come to a place where I'm like, yeah, no, Tia, your job is not hard. And that's okay. That is okay. You probably should start leaning into the fact and appreciating the fact that you get to do something that you love for a living, and it does not stress you out to do it. On a big level, it doesn't stress me. Sometimes the day-to-day of it can be a little bit much, but but it doesn't stress you out to do it. And that's okay. Everybody does not have to have a job that they hate or a job that stresses them out or just a hard life or a hard situation. That does not have to be the case for everybody, right? And I think I used to spend so much time trying to prove to people that like, oh, I'm doing the same thing as you. Like, I'm super busy like you, or such and such is wearing me out just like you. And it's kind of like, no, Tia, you are killing yourself. You are exhausting yourself trying to prove to people that you can do so much in one day, because God forbid, your life have a little bit of ease to it. And this year I learned to lean into the ease and lean away from people that make me feel like it's wrong for me to do that, right? That in and of itself has been one of the best things I could have done for myself in 2024. I became very compliant with myself and what is, and I quit creating resistance where it never needed to exist in the first place. And that has brought my stress levels down. I think it has helped me with my whole fitness journey and with the results that I was able to get this year, because it reduced my stress by quite a bit doing that for myself. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but if you feel like you're in a place where you are unable to just have peace or rest or whatever, because you just don't want to ever give the impression that like life is okay, I'm here to tell you that it is okay to be okay, right? It is just fine if on a day-to-day basis, you have more good days than bad days. Sure, the world around us might be burning down, like it really might be. But how you let that affect you is up to you. And it is okay if you're able to still kind of like move through life while being aware of all of the problems, but not letting them get to you to a place where part of your personality is like doom and gloom and being a Debbie Downer or being like a Sarah stressed out, right? We don't do that anymore. We do not do that anymore. I ran the Peachtree Road Race in 2024, and I could not believe it. Now, that too was a learning experience, mainly because when you are trying to train for a race, you do a lot of running, right? And I learned that, number one, if I want to run, I can. Like, I could be a runner if I wanted to be. But number two, I don't want to run every day. I just don't. Number three, if the weather conditions are absolutely perfect, you could probably talk me into running, right? It kind of goes back and forth for me. But then lastly, when they say that there is a hill on any race route, when they tell you that the hill is called Cardiac Hill, when they say that the nickname of the hill implies that you might have some type of medical situation after running said hill, you should probably run hills when you're training for that race. I don't know. That's just something that I'm throwing out there. Because when people said like, oh, it's a hill, like, oh, I don't know what I thought in my mind. I don't know what I thought. I really don't. But when we were running the Peachtree Road Race, and it could be because of where we started, because, they put you in groups from A to Z. And we were in not the last wave, but we were somewhere in the middle. I can't even remember what our wave was. But we weren't at the end and we weren't at the front. We were somewhere in the middle. And so if you're running and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. Like, I'm doing so great running the Peachtree Road Race. This is awesome. The weather is nice. I'm having a great time. Like, my playlist is good. My feet don't hurt. Like, this is amazing. And then you hit Cardiac Hill and the traffic in front of you comes to a screeching halt because maybe they too weren't prepared for Cardiac Hill, or maybe they had planned to just walk Cardiac Hill, which is totally okay too. but you didn't know that that was going to happen. So then when you brake or stop, because you got to stop when the car in front of you stops, you got to stop, right? When that happens and your stride breaks, your pace kind of is impacted by this. You don't know how to get back in the fight. I had the hardest time bringing myself back to like what my pace was before hitting Cardiac Hill. But then because of course now at this point, we too are climbing Cardiac Hill. And the rest of the race past the hill honestly wasn't even bad at all. It's just that I had a hard time rebounding from that. And so if I were to ever run the Peachtree Road Race again, when I mean to tell you, I would train and I will solely almost only run hills. That's what I would do. Because, I mean, running the straighter ways, running the flat roads, those were fine. You just run those and you're happy and you're singing along to your playlist. When you hit that hill, it is like a smack in the face. It is the most humbling moment. And then when you see at the end of the race that other people ran that same 6 miles in like 25 minutes, and you know that that 25 minutes included the hill, it gives you something to aspire to. It's like, hey, well, if that person ran it in 25 minutes, I could at least shave 10 minutes off of my run my overall run time by just training for the hill, because I'm pretty sure most people get to the hill and they're like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not running this. I'm not doing it. And then they don't. They just stop. So that would be my advice. If you're planning to run any race in 2025, number one, start early with your training. Don't wait until the last minute to start training. Start as early as you possibly can, right? The sooner you start training, the better off you are going to be. Number two, run hills. Even if you're running something that you know for a fact is all flat road, incorporate some hills into your running training. You will be so glad you did. In the event that there is the slightest bump in the road in your race route that maybe you didn't know about, you weren't prepared for it, but because you had ran a few, hill intervals, you will be prepared for it. Your legs are going to be so much stronger for it too. And honestly, now that I think about it, running hills will give you like the best, the best legs. Your legs will be able to do a lot after running hills over and over again, preparing for your race. So I don't know if I'm going to do the Peachtree Road Race again. I'm going to think about it. I really, in this moment, I've not moved either way. Like, I don't feel like, oh, I've got to do that again. But I also feel like, oh, but maybe I should do it again, because it wasn't bad. It was kind of like fun, and it was a very Atlanta thing to do. So I don't know. My feelings are mixed. I'm going to think about it. We also completed 75 hard in 2024, and I'm so proud of everybody that did it. I'm so proud of the results they got from it. I feel like people learned a lot about themselves, which is always my goal when I'm working with people. And I feel like it wasn't as bad as I think we all thought it was going to be. I think the worst part about the challenge is the fact that it's 75 days. But when you think about it, it's kind of like, yeah, but there are 365 days in a year, and you're supposed to be working out more of those than you are not. So really, that 75 days is just a drop in the bucket, right? I'm excited to do the challenge again, mainly because this time I feel like everyone knows what they're getting into for the most part. I feel like I'm going to be able to coach people through it a lot better. I'm excited for us because we will be adding a little bit of a twist to it this time. And I'll talk more about it in the workout report. But the fact that we were all able to successfully complete that challenge, and it was the first time that I think any of us had done it. I mean, I would just like to give us a bit of a round of applause for that, because I know that that wasn't the easiest thing to do. So kudos to all of us. And I'm anxiously awaiting the start of 75 Hard in January. But that was a huge milestone for us as a community here on the podcast, in the app, all of it. everywhere that we talk about all of our things together, I feel like that was a big deal for a lot of us. And there were people who did 75 hard with us and they just weren't even, like they weren't in the app, but they were doing it and they were checking in with me. And so congratulations to them too for completing a very difficult challenge. Then lastly, I feel like everyone knows what I'm going to talk about now. My love for Pilates took center stage as we ended the year. Part of why I think I have been enjoying those classes is because it is healing a little bit of gym hurt for me. Y'all know I spent the first good part of 2024 whining and complaining about that personal training experience. And that's because I don't like wasting time. I don't like wasting time. And then I feel like when I also feel like my time also resulted in wasted money, it's like insult to injury. Like, not only did you waste your time, but girl, you also wasted, a few $1,000s, and that's just not a good feeling. And it took me a minute to get over that because I don't like wasting either one of those things. And I feel like now I'm getting back into the groove of like working out in like a group fitness setting, which I love. I absolutely love the fact that I don't have to think about my workout. I just show up and someone instructs me on what to do. I do the things, and before I know it, an hour has passed and it's time for me to go home. I love that no two classes are the same, that we use the same equipment in all of the classes, but I never feel like I'm doing the same workout over and over again. I love that when class is over, I feel like we've targeted different body parts. So some days you definitely get some back work. Some days you get some arm work. Every day you get leg work, and every day you get core work. But the way that the classes are formatted, it keeps your body interested. It keeps your body guessing. And it just keeps it so fun. So when I mean to tell y'all I'm deep in my Pilates era, I'm deep in my Pilates era. Like, I think one of the reasons why I am so excited for 75 Hard to start is because I already know, like, oh, well, at least you won't have to think about what you're going to do for the workouts for the most part, because I know I'm going to walk every day. I know I'm going to go to Pilates a few times a week, and I know I'm going to strength train using my dumbbells. And so the guesswork for me has been completely removed, and I'm excited about that. I feel like the results that I've gotten from Pilates has been exactly what I wanted. I think the walking combined with Pilates has been good for me. And I know I shared that I would solely do just Pilates and walking for a month just to see what would happen. And I have been very happy with the results. Now, I will say that it is not the most fat burning combo. You don't burn that many calories in Pilates. You just don't. It's a mind-body modality. So your heart rate is not climbing all that much doing these classes. But if you're willing to be patient enough, over time, you'll see that your body is being sculpted into something that's very beautiful. But would I sit here and say that you could solely be a Pilates princess and that's all you need to do? No, I would never recommend that. That's not to say that you couldn't do it. You can do it, but you have to be patient enough to wait for the results that come along with only solely doing Pilates. And for most of the people that I know, none of us are patient enough to wait for that. So I would say do it once or twice a week, in addition to whatever you're already doing. But I have been absolutely loving it, and I'll continue to share my results and my feelings about it in the new year, just, as a supplemental thing that you could consider doing or trying in 2025. But hopefully everybody will at least try one class one time and then let me know what you thought about it. Because some of the classes are more cardio based, so your heart rate does go up in those. Some of them are all just strength and toning, so you work the tiniest muscle groups that you overlook when you strength train or when you go to the gym, which is why I love it. And then some of the classes are strictly for just stretching your body out. just making your body more loose and limber and working on your flexibility. So I could talk a long time about Pilates. I won't, though. I won't, not today. But please consider trying it in 2025 if you haven't already taken a class. And I think that wraps up my year in review. Those were the most popular episodes from this year. Now, I have already received my end of year podcast report, and the podcast grew by 36% this year. So thank you to everyone who continues to listen to the podcast. Welcome to people who might be finding the podcast for the first time. A lot of the listeners are in these United States, but we've got listeners overseas as well, which just blows my mind. I should have wrote down some of the countries that people are listening from, but y'all know I didn't do that. But hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the podcast for people who are just discovering it, or if you discovered it this year, I highly recommend you starting at season 1, episode 1, and working your way up to this here 2024 year-end review over the holiday season. So let's talk about the workout report. So starting in the new year, as you know, we're going to do 75 hard. I personally will be doing exactly what I just said, incorporating Pilates into my 75 hard. But what I wanted to say to people about whatever your workout routine is going to be, do not minimize the importance of rest in your workout routine. Rest is where all of the stuff comes together. When your body is resting, that's when your muscles are forming. That's when the benefits of your workout actually start to do the work. So if you're doing all of this and you're still not getting good sleep, or you feel like you just don't get enough rest throughout the day or at night or whatever, really consider making rest your top priority in 2025. Whatever that means to you. I don't know if that means maybe you want to discuss using some type of sleep aid with your doctor. I don't know if that means you want to create a bedtime routine that might help you get a better night's rest. Girl, I don't know if that means you need a new bed or a new mattress, or if you need a new sleeping partner. Like, girl, I don't know. But I do know if you're not getting sleep, if you don't feel rested ever, let's make that part of what we focus on in 2025, because I think the rest part is just as important as the eating part, to be honest with you. Okay, so in 2024, there were some big moments, right? We talked about a lot of random things, lots of television watching. You know, the Martha documentary certainly sticks out to me. The Divorce in Black from Tyler Perry certainly sticks out to me. Whatever that show is, what was it called? Beauty in Black? Is that what that show was called? The one that we just talked about not too long ago. What was the name of that show? And I said, how dare they have the nerve to end it on a cliffhanger and come back for a season 2? Because who in the world asked for that? Not me or anybody that I knew. And I think what upset me so much about that show is because it was so bad. I just knew I could be done with it when it went off. And to my surprise, Netflix ordered more than one season of that. And now, of course, I have to go back and I have to see what happens to all these people when the season returns. I also watched Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. That was great. Highly recommend that. And it is coming back for a season 2. What else did we watch other than like Love is Blind and stuff? Oh, the show about the 3 women on Stars with DeWanda Wise. That was a good show. I also watched, what was it? Oh, I did want to mention Glorilla. Glorilla was a very big highlight and big surprise coming out of 2024. I did not see that album being as good as it is. I'm still listening to it to this day. And dare I say it, I was thinking about this the other day when I was listening to What You Know About Me, which is basically her Wipe Me Down. When I was listening to that in my car the other day, I was like, you know what, Glow? Your Wipe Me Down might be the next back that thing up. But like the girl version, as far as longevity goes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when Back That Thing Up by Juvenile came out, we all loved that song. But to say that back then we knew it was going to be a classic, I mean, I don't know if we knew that, but obviously, like we know now, anytime you hear Cash Money Records taking over for 99, you stop what you're doing and you're like, yes, absolutely, it's that time. I feel like original Wipe Me Down definitely has its place. Cookie is sneezing. I'm sorry about that. I feel like Boosie's Wipe Me Down, definitely, Wipe Me Down. We love that song. It does what it's supposed to do. But something about Glow's version of it really gives longevity for me. Really, when I hear that song come on, I'm like, okay, yes, this is a stop everything and pay attention for the next 3 to 4 minutes. This is what we're doing. I feel like that's what her album and that song specifically, that's what it gave. And I'm very happy for her and all of the success that she was able to get from that album. Oh, Mormon Wives on Hulu. That was worth the watch. We also watched How to Die Alone with Natasha Rothwell on Hulu. We also watched Selling Sunset, which, I feel like you got to watch that. Bel Air was good, but y'all know Bel Air is not coming back. I think when it does come back, this is like the final season whenever it comes back, which is kind of sad. And it was only 6 seasons. I don't understand why they did that, but I guess they're trying to make it mirror the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And once those kids went to college, I mean, that show still held my attention once they went to college. I enjoyed it still, but maybe they don't want to do that with this new cast. Reasonable Doubt was good this year. We love anytime Morris Chestnut is going to be on TV. That is Keep a Job Morris. Like how Keke Palmer is Keke Keep a Job Palmer. Morris Chestnut keeps a job, and he has a new show coming out on CBS. I don't know the name of it. I don't know what day and time it comes on. All I know is I heard a commercial or I saw a trailer, and they said Morris Chestnut and CBS. He's going to be on TV. Let's everybody look it up because we're going to be watching whatever this is, and I definitely will be talking about it over on my other number. So, girl, let's get tapped in and locked into whatever he is doing, because whatever he is doing, I also want to be doing it. Okay, not too much, Tia. Let's see. Oh, the Celine Dion documentary was so good. That pulls at your heartstrings. Speaking of documentaries pulling at your heartstrings, I watched the new Jamie Foxx special. Let's call it a special, because it was not stand-up. And what I will say about it was that it was good. It was nice to hear his story, to hear about what happened to him when he was sick and everybody was all concerned and worried for him. That was great to hear it. Now, I gotta admit, I'm not the most, no, that's not true. I'm a lover girl, so I like the warm and fuzzies of it all, right? Like, I love it. I love love. I love it all, right? But certain emotions, I feel like I don't give them enough, and I'm going to own myself in this situation. I don't give other emotions the ability to roam as free as maybe they should, right? And watching his special, once he told us what happened to him, I know I might get some pushback for this, but I'm like, okay, well, now that we know what happened to you, where are the jokes? Like, is this a stand-up special or is it not? Because I thought this was going to be stand-up. Like, I thought you were going to be up here telling jokes or making people laugh. Like, I thought this was something else, and clearly it's not. Clearly, this is more of like a testimonial where you're coming to say, like, what happened to you. You're very thankful to still be here, and that's great, and I appreciate that. I actually really love Jamie Foxx. Have loved him ever since, I don't know, since what? Like, I guess in Living Color, right? His show, The Jamie Foxx Show, to me is one of the best sitcoms like of our time. I have enjoyed him in all of his movies. And so when I tuned in for this, I think I was expecting like that Jamie Foxx, when really, you really did get Eric Bishop. You got Eric Bishop. And again, that's fine. That's great. It's lovely because we're happy for him, right? But I would say if I knew that that's what it was before I watched it, would I have watched it? I'll have to be honest and say probably not. I probably would not have. I probably just would have looked for the clips online of him talking about what happened to him just so that I could know like, oh, that's what happened to him. That's sad and I'm glad he's better, right? But I don't know if I would have watched for the emotional ride of it all. Because he cries a lot on there. And crying is fine. People should cry. They should. I just think that for me, as I was watching it, I kept waiting for it to take a turn. That's the best way to describe how I felt watching it. I kept waiting for it to take a turn, like for it to pick up. And it never did. And then I had to come to a place where I was like, oh no, this is it. This is the special. And then I had to go back and look at what they called it. And I'm like, Tia, they never told you this man was going to be up here telling jokes. They never did. And I listened to Ratchet and Respectable. And Demetria said that she felt like it was very similar to Nathaniel, right? I can't think of what Carmichael, him, when he did his stand-up special on HBO. And I don't agree with that. Because, see, to me, Nathaniel was kind of like a testimony. It was kind of him telling his life story. But it definitely had some storytelling in there that was funny. Like, it was still jokes, but he was sharing his life. The Jamie Foxx special, to me, was him sharing his life and telling his story. And that was it. Like, I guess parts of it, maybe he poked fun at a couple of things, like when he said he was going to leave white women alone. I guess that was supposed to be a joke, but I really didn't find that to be funny because I'm like, that's not funny to me. I mean, I don't know. So yes, watch it just so that we can all be glad he made it through what he made it through and we can give thanks for that. But if you're going to watch that expecting it to be like a stand-up, like comedy special, girl, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It is not that. What else did we watch this year? I have written down This Could Be Us, but to be honest with you, I don't even know if I remember what that is. This Could Be Us. What was This Could Be Us about? It must have been good because I wrote it down. And I didn't say where I watched it. Oh, no, This Could Be Us is a book. Ha! This Could Be Us is a book, which brings me to something we're going to do in 2025. I joined a book club. Part of what one of my goals is for 2025 is to be a part of a book club and actually read a book a month. Because let's face it, outside of audiobooks, that's probably all I have time to do. I love audiobooks because I can listen while I do other things. But I also do love holding an actual book in my hand and sitting down and finding time to read. But I also know that because of my life and how it's set up, a book a month is probably all I'm going to be able to do. Right? And that's fine with me. So I joined a book club with Pouring Over Books. If you go to either the Pouring Over Books website or if you go over to the Pouring Over Books Instagram, you can find out all of the details about joining the book club. In 2025, the theme for the book club is Black Chick Lit. And it's all of the books we grew up reading. Like when we were too young to be reading it. But, you know, we were reading it anyway, and it was kind of saucy and spicy, and it was kind of like, ooh, I cannot believe people are letting me read these books, or if they only knew I was reading these books, right? But we're going to go back through those books and read them as grown women and have discussions about them, and I'm so excited. I think the first book of the year is Omar Tyree's Fly Girl. We're doing that one. We're doing some Eric Jerome Dickey. We're doing Waiting to Exhale. We're doing Sister Souljah. the whole list of books is over on the website. So if you go to Pouring Over Books, you look up the books, you can either do the audiobook version of them, or you can like buy or get books from the library, like whatever you want to do. But consider joining that book club with me. All of the information on how to join is on the Pouring Over Books website, because that would be so much fun to have some of my ladies here join me in a book club over there, so we can kind of talk about these characters and these stories, the romance of it all, and how reading those books as teenagers kind of made you think that love and relationships were supposed to be one way. But then, girl, we all started dating, and then we all kind of got married, and we're all kind of like, I didn't read this in none of the books that I was... I didn't. You would be amazed at how many people do not live in Los Angeles, because weren't a lot of those books like that? Like, I read so many books as a teenager where everybody lived off the 405 or off the 10 or off the whatever. And I'm just like, wow, thinking back on it.
Hey, girl.
Those books,
Still
everyone
there?
either lived in New
You can
York
get my
or
other
LA.
number by clicking on the link in the description box.
That
Bye.
makes it that much more special for storytelling, I guess. But now that I'm reading books by like Kennedy Ryan, her books are like based out of, well, the books that I've read so far have been based out of Atlanta. And I just think that that's so cool. Not because I live in this area, but just because most of the stories you read that have Black characters, they live in other places that are supposed to be like more cool than the South. So I always appreciate it when people write books and the books happen like down here where I live. I just think that's so cool. And it is also a testament to the times, is it not? That how times have changed. So yes, that's what This Could Be Us was about. Because I was like, is that a TV show? I didn't write down where it came from. Yeah, and I think that is it for 2024. I'm checking my notes. And I think that's it. That's going to wrap up our year-end review. Thank you so much for your continued support of the podcast. The newsletter returns in January, and I'm super excited about that. So if you were a person that was always opening up my emails when I sent them out, girl, remember me. When you see that newsletter come to your inbox in January, know a lot of work went into that thing. So when you see it, girl, open it up and read it. It's going to be an extension of some of the stuff we talk about here. It'll be an extension of some of the stuff maybe that I talk about online, and I just don't have enough time to get to everything. And it's going to be different than what I've done in the past in terms of the newsletter. So I would appreciate everybody's support of that. I would appreciate everyone's feedback from that. And like I always say, if there's something that you would like for me to either write about or talk about, I'm always open to suggestions and truly creating a space where people feel like you can come to me and say like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Or have you ever heard about such and such? And then me doing the research and then coming up here and telling everybody all about it. I'm totally open to stuff like that. So I hope you all have a great holiday season. I hope 2024 was everything that you needed it to be or wanted it to be. And if it wasn't, the good news is 2025 is literally 5 minutes from now, and we all get a fresh, clean slate to start anew, which every day you wake up technically is a good time to start anew. But if you're waiting for 2025, like, girl, it's coming. And I cannot wait to work out with you and eat all of the things with you all of next year. So I think that's going to wrap it up on this episode of Tia's Table. Remember, when you're out, compliment a woman, say something nice to her, make her day. You never know how that's going to lift her spirits. Don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And never knock another woman's hustle. I will be talking to you in 2025, I think. Yeah? Unless you have my other number. And then, girl, we're going to be talking quite a bit between now and January 1st. And if you don't have my other number, go down to this description box and click to get it, because you don't want to miss some of the stuff we talk about over there. Have a merry all of the things and happy new year. I love you, girl, and I will see you in 2025.